Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with CC to bring you guys Like a G6 versus Franzj Presents. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 17 Upper Bracket Round 1. And after months of hard work and dedication, it all comes down to this weekend. We started with 9. We will narrow it down to 4, or we have already. And then by the end of tomorrow night, we will have crowned our Season 17 champion. This matchup that we'll be seeing, this best of 3, is between the number 2 seed Like a G6, number 3 Franzj. The winner will move on to the upper bracket round final to be played later tonight, while the loser will have to go down to the lower bracket and immediately be under threat of elimination. So it all comes down to the wire, and it's all going to go down tonight. TC.
It is indeed, and I'm so excited to see how it plays out because, we were saying at the start of this season, there's so much potential from all of these teams in the division, and of course, some of them dropped out, and like you said, we've whittled it down to just 4 teams with the potential to maybe be that first place, but already, with some of the news and some of the things that we've seen throughout the season, and just earlier today, it's kind of all to play for, honestly. You can't really count anyone out at the moment. Everyone has the potential, if they're on a good day, to maybe take the win, get the upset, and make their way into grand finals. And at that point, you're just one good game away, one bad game away from having it all turn around. So I think it's going to be a very exciting series of 4 games that we're going to be looking at. Obviously, you're thinking to yourself, wait, 4 games? What about the others? Fireside Cast is going to be covering the games that we're not, which at the moment is Jiminy versus Franzj, your 4th seed versus the 1st seed. That should still be a very amazing game, but I think we've got an equally, if not better, amazing one on our hands right now, Jared. Like a G6 versus Franzj. This has been the kind of 2 teams that have delivered us the most upsets in the season. Franzj being able to upset Like a G6 not once, but twice in the regular season, really cementing their spot in playoffs at the start. A lot of people maybe wouldn't have guaranteed them as one of the top 4 in playoffs. You had a lot of competition with the Cell, with Greasy Dot Hawks, but Franzj being able to get those upset wins over Like a G6 really secured them in that position, and now we're going to have to see if they're going to be able to do it again on playoffs.
And in the same vein, they also showed a lot of vulnerability in that they're still human and that weren't able to tackle Franzj. They also had some losses versus Jiminy and the Cell later on in the second half of the season. So a little bit of ups and downs, but just focusing on G6 so far, their track record has been pretty good. Let's go over the rosters for today, because there is going to be a change. For the for the side of Like a G6, you have Bot Mode and Jay on Scout, who will be subbing in for Caps today, at least today, due to unreliable internet. We have Soapy and Kobe on Soldier, Logan on Demo, and Howard on Medic.
Yeah, and then over on the side of Franzj, you're going to have Yum Yum in Exile as the 2 scouts, Zam and Donovan as your soldiers, Sam on Demo, and then Lol Guy of a previous G6 fame on Medic. And it's always interesting to see Lil Guy go up against his former teammates because, he's got some intel on how they like to play and maybe how his team can use that to their advantage. And you got to say, it's kind of worked so far. The 2 upset wins, I mean, the first one, Like a G6, they were probably a bit rusty. They hadn't maybe practiced that much in the preseason, just kind of figuring they were going to be able to roll into it, not have to worry too much. And then, all right, they lose that one, no biggie. The second time around, it's a much closer game, and Franzj are still able to walk away with it in the halfway point of the season. Now we get into playoffs. Is Lil Guy still going to be able to get, they say they're a friend team and, they're not too worried about where they place. Getting 2 upset wins, you got to be feeling pretty good, and they're going to want to repeat that tonight.
Yep, you can take a look at the maps to see where the pick and bans lie. Normally in the regular season, you get to ban 3 maps before you eventually decide who is going to play, but this time around, because it's a BO3, you only get to knock 1 out of the map pool. For the side of G6 and Franzj, their first selections were Sultry and Bagel, taking those out of the pool, leaving Sunshine and Gullywash as the pick. Gullywash being actually one of the closer matches we've had all season. It was a 4-3 game in favor of Franzj, so they're going back to that and as a little bit of a rematch. Some weaker maps for the teams personally taken out of the pool in the second wave of bans in Snakewater and Granary, and Process is going to be the pick from G6, which is the other map that was played in the regular season. And while G6 did struggle on this map when they played versus Franzj, I think it was like a 1-5 loss or something along those lines. It's been a while since then. It's been a solid 2 months, and Franzj had some difficulties on process recently as well versus other various teams, so it might be some light shined on where the changes that you need to make are to find success against them. So 2 rematches. Not starting off it though, and process isn't guaranteed to be played, but I mean, we have the sister team of the sister map of process rather, in Sunshine as the first map we'll be playing tonight.
Yeah, it is going to be the first map like a G6's pick. I'm going to be very interested how they tackle this, just with a Jay over on Pocket Scout, because like you said earlier, Jay going to be replacing Caps just for today. Unfortunately, Caps' internet bit wonky, so Jay has so valiantly stepped up to come in as the combo scout for like a G6, and as we all know, Jay, he's an amazing TF2 player. He's played Invite now on basically every single class with his now most recent stint as the Cells medic. And we know he's got the DM to be able to, you know, be in this server and to pop off and go for crazy plays. But just in your opinion, Jared, do you think there's maybe going to be a little bit of issues just in terms of comm and team chemistry coming in at like the final hour? I mean, it's playoffs. It started. Do you think there's maybe going to be a little bit of teething issues just for today for like a G6?
I think it's a crapshoot, honestly. Okay, we know that Jay is going to be able to call. We've seen him when he was playing Medic for the Cell, how he was literally walking in front of his teammates. Like, you know, he is screaming, like, get in, I want to Uber, go, go. So he's in a mindset to, like, make directions for a team. But, you know, going into a new team environment, you got to get used to the way that your main caller is going to make calls. So who's to say if G6 is going to be prepared for the type of stuff that Jay wants to call, or if he's going to mess with their playstyle in 100% of all the special types of plays they might want to make. So who knows on that. Second off, he's been playing Medic all season. Obviously, he's an amazing player, but who knows what the level his DM is at right now. Like, oh, I need to bring Scout for a team? Like, okay, when's the last time he actually, like, seriously grinded his DM to the point where, you know, he was at the point where he was like winning championships, right? So who knows? Might take him a bit to warm up. We have no clue where he's at. Third, bot mode should be in bed right now. He is so unwell, he can't even calm barely. Now, the only reason he's playing probably is because Cass isn't here, so honestly, I'm not even going to make a pred because it would be pulled from where the sun don't shine, because there's no telling what this G6 team is going to pop out. It's either going to be amazing or we're going to be left feeling a bit short here, but either way, we're going live and we're going to see who's going to take the first map.
Well, someone who's not short as Logan gets to mid right on time now, can be able to launch a few stickies. Actually goes down very, very weak. Does have to wait for an arrow from Howard. Luckily does get it. Sophie over in his team's cap. They're going to be going for a bomb immediately. Shot out of the sky. A huge bomb coming in from the other soldier. Landing super deep in the valley. Look out, very weak. Kobe hits the rocket. Is going to be able to clean up the medic. But on the other side of the field, Jared, everyone on G6 goes down.
Yeah, you see all the ammo boxes scattered around the valley area. They got so much room from the side of Franzj, I think, from getting Logan so low, that it was really impossible for them to actually heal any other player other than Logan in the very beginning, which prevented them from actually getting tons of space. So put into that little box is a big deja vu to anyone that remembered the Demo Man 1v1s early on before the arrows were added to the game, which made things so influential. Brings you back just a bit, showing my age there. But at the end of the day, it was the little things combined that allowed Franzj to take so much space there and find them in a good position now. Decent ad to work with, not fully 100%. They still have to make their way in a lobby and mine these pipes and stickies that Logan has kind of set up, but will eventually det. And as they reach 80%, all that's really left to do is pick a door. They don't know where the gun is, per se. They haven't been able to do tons and tons of spotting. Yum Yum might actually die, and he will, trying to spot. So a person down here, 40% ad, they might not use it. And with them backing out of lobby, they've realized that, yeah, the ad wasn't the biggest. And with Yum Yum dead there, it's just, nah, it's fine. We'll be able to break the stalemate, so G6, find a good pick there. Sophie was maybe on the move to see if he'd go for a counter, but a little bit too slow and almost gave up his life at the tail end there. But is fine for now, able to reset and isn't quite a late death there. Bot mode checking on Spy. Will not find any off classes from the side of Franzj. Opting for cookie cutter play right now, but still gotta spot this gun. XL will find it, finally. And now we'll see with 2.5 minutes or so left on the clock how they commence their sack to try to get the Uber out of Howard.
like they're kind of stacking a few players over towards the left, maybe to try and take down that sentry gun. A good bit of damage over on Kobe. Sam trying to hit some pipes over towards it and not doing enough damage. That is going to be Jay on the NG, just whacking it with the little knife there. Zam goes in, is going to be taken down. Very aggressive. Donovan is going to go down. Nice pipe from Logan. And now with 2 picks, both soldiers down on Franzj. G6 can opt to get a little bit aggressive here. Logan already starting to peek the shutter. Yum Yum in a little bit of a 1v1. Here comes Soapy bombing around, making so much space for his team. Do Franzj want to try and fight this? They have 1 respawner, both respawners
Exile
on the way. And they're going in. He's so deep.
And how was
Sam?
Double pipe from Sam?
What?
I don't even see where he came from. I was so focused on Exile and how he separate from the beam that I even see the immense wipe. And you know what? After this fight was gonna go up, I was gonna say how uncharacteristic this was of G6, because G6 is a team that will naturally like not push out a last and just like, nah, we'll reset. It's fine. We'll do a mid fight. But they were confident enough with the 2 soldier picks that, oh, they're so little spam, we'll just get out there and it'll be good. But the tail end of things, I mean, it would have been fine if Howard didn't drop, but sometimes little mistakes like these happen, and you're gonna have to try your best to make it not hit you in the morale for it happening only 3 minutes into the game, and a round is taken in Franzj's favor. We'll see if they'll be oppressive as much as they were last time and prevent G6 from taking too much room on this mid.
We'll have to see. There's Donovan over on the bell tower, getting that nice high ground. Bot mode kind of running forward with the rest of the team. They haven't met Chess quite yet. Kobe actually taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to jump back. The Scouts very aggressive on Franzj. The bomb. Donovan going huge onto Howard. Zam taking down bot mode as well. Loga gets his own pick. It's only going to be Logan. He's getting piped and shot down. We have 1. Jay Hunpei, the ringer, coming in force. Can he do anything? No, he cannot. And that is going to be the second mid 1 for Franzj. They've got Uber ad again, and they're looking to be in a very good position here to take a second round.
I mean, it's the same thing, but just slightly different. They decided to not go Valiant, go towards their own cafe, but they still have had very little presence. No one on Bell, no one making them turn around, really. And overall, they were kind of stuck near the stairs and by the forward spawn and immediately lost tower to the bomb. So not even going to be able to keep your medic alive there. And with Yum Yum alive, they haven't really spotted too much, and they're just probably going to go through lower straight up and just hope that because they're centralized, they'll be able to see the gun. And they will be lucky enough that the gun is going to be right in front of them. Actually milking it. Okay, they milked a couple seconds there, able to get the gun first thing over, trying to clear the point a bit, but no, gonna cross over. Everyone's locked inside the spawn though, get 1 pick onto Zam. Kobe unable to really block the point though, still some stickies on it. They're trying to double scatter them down, able to take down Jay, getting 2 picks there, bombing over into the corner, bot mode falling as well, and the cap time is enough to seal the deal. Soapy not quite there in time with the full squad available for that last push this time. Able to do El Clasico, and it's a 2-0 point in Franzj's favor.
Yeah, Franzj looking really, really good right now, being able to convert that Uber ad into a round, and they're in a very strong position on G6's map pick, no less. Soapy Meister trying to do so much damage to Sam early, get some good damage, and now Sam is going to have to be the one waiting for the arrow, and he's not getting it. He's so weak. Someone bow this man.
That's
he
what they
doesn't.
needed.
Logan, and now both soldiers going to be bombing in onto Loga. He's not going to be able to serve that one out. G6 have immediately changed up their strategy. Yum Yum is the last Franzj player left on mid. He's going to be shot down over towards Choke. Exile was thinking about getting in there, but he's going to be hiding in Cafe. It's going to be all eyes on him to see if maybe he can, seems like he wants to try and block the point. He's going to have to take a 2v1. He's up against bot mode. Can he win versus him? Might be able to get the trade, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's too many people searching for him. At most, he can just draw some eyes. No, Kobe gets the kill. Now it's G6 in a good position to take a round.
Yeah, very smart adjustment. They recognize they need to be more aggressive in general, and Soapy, not only did he full send it in, he got actually so much damage onto Sam that Logan was able to clean up the kill there, and then it was curtains. Howard also was able to avoid the soldiers this time. I think he has the rhythm down, and it's granted them this last push they have now. Going in, no gun to take off on this side of the map. It's on the opposing, will eventually fall. Uber over, they're opting to get off the high ground, rotate to the left-hand side, able to kill Donovan, and Logan, extremely weak, needs to kill this heavy. They have no cap time to their name quite yet. They will try to launch themselves forward, and they will find Logan collecting that kill with a heal advantage. They might be able to win this in the long term, but there is resup available for Franzj. Couple trades here and there. Exile, one of the last players remaining on the point, will get taken down, and Sam, I think that's too much for him to handle, and G6, they take it slow and methodical there for that post to just play enough the heals, and they get their first round on the board, and 1 step closer to tying up the game.
2-1. G6 finally making this a game for us now. And I mean, it's been basically too mid to last. Sure, the first one, there was a little bit of a scuffle before Franzj were able to convert it, but at least at this point in the match, the mids being so important, and the demos really being the first instigators of their deaths, being the instigators for the other team to try and walk forward and get aggressive. Now, we can see, it doesn't seem like Logan or Sam are at too much of a risk. Now Donovan going for the bomb, just going to land on the bell tower, making some space for his team. Here comes the committal. Logan super weak, but not going to be taken down. Sam finds one onto Kobe. Soapy bombs in behind. Donovan tries to go in, and this is not looking good for Franzj. Soapy not dying there is going to allow G6 to walk forward, and they take down Sam. Loga disconnected. Might be able to get out. There's too many people chasing him. Jay with the pistol. Gonna get the kill. There's a rocket against Howard. Sam absolutely clutches up, and for the first time, it's not going to be uber advantage for the team that wins mid.
It's quite a roller coaster. In the beginning, there was so much damage, not as much as previous rounds. There was so much damage, and I think Logan wasn't able to get an arrow, and it kind of screwed up G6's buffs, but they still had really aggressive soldiers that not only brought a lot of eyes away from the team, so it didn't matter that his reheal was slow and that the buffs were slow from G6's side. They didn't die for anything necessarily either. It was like a waste. So, you know, Franzj start out strong. The soldiers tie him up though, but at least they get the consolation prize with the final rocket onto Howard and prevent an immediate situation where they're dis-ad on their last. The gun is up, but it has been spotted. Spam down, only level 2. A little bit of HP missing does make the difference and will fall at 2 rockets. But bombing in, Donovan finds Howard. Logan dead as well. The core of G6 just melt. They thought they were safe inside this lobby area, but the off-kilter play of the double soldier bomb going in is enough damage to absolutely explode them and send them back to 2.
Oh my god, that was just the kind of aggression that Franzj, Sam, and Donovan catching G6 out completely there. I mean, when you're in lobby, it's even Ubers. You're not expecting the defensive team to be the ones to get aggressive, but G6 caught sleeping a little bit. Soapy is going to be the one going for a bomb now. It's going to be shot back and has to fade away to preserve some of his health. They actually just going to use in with that Uber. They might find both soldiers. Soapy is not going to be able to get out, unfortunately for him. So they get one, they get the point. It's not going to be that big of Uber advantage on G6, and it seems like Franzj, they just want to continue to fight this.
Yeah, it didn't quite see Kobe in the corner. They are able to slow them down a bit. Now there's so much damage onto Franzj. Sam will eventually get popped into the air and die, and I mean, they need to slow the roll a little bit. They brought a scout in before soldiers, so they weren't able to see how G6 was positioned, and it is going to bite them just a tad. So instead of trying to get a force, or at least a couple picks early on mid, their lack of hesitation kind of sends them all the way back to last, and a little bit more discipline would have been good for them. So Uber advantage for the side of Howard. Not using it quite yet. Don't really need to. You're just going to cap it up, and the Uber will be used for the stats. They're preoccupied. I mean, they got the kill onto Soapy. Logan as well, but that one was after the cap has already gone through. And the nice turnaround from this side of G6 in a very punishing way ties up the game 2-2.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate for Franzj because they had basically everyone up. They got the Soapy, and then it was just the soldiers not being ready, I think, for the push. They were just a little bit out of position, but now Soapy again trying to go aggressive onto Sam, gets that early damage. Sam going in through Valley where he can get that pack and be a little bit healthier to mid. Soapy trying to negate that as Kobe going in for a bomb. He's going to be the one going into the enemy team's Valley just to be a little bit of a nuisance, maybe going behind, but we have a nice bomb onto Howard. Sam, he gets it again. He's been finding him so many times, and everyone on G6 so weak. Soapy high in the sky. He is so seen by everyone on Franzj that they know he's over in cap. His exile takes down bot mode. They're going to be able to capture up this point. Soapy in behind, but they've got a pretty good read on where he is. They're in a good position to make this a 3-2.
Franzj did a really good job of finally calling the bluff from G6 and their aggression, because so far G6's aggression hasn't been a full committal. It's always been just a distraction play to allow their team overall to have some alleviated pressure. So they absolutely did not care what Sophie and Kobe were doing. They just went ahead, went with their play. And so all of a sudden, all this distraction that G6 has crafted in the past couple mids that it gave them some breathing room, now we're back to square one. Franzj milking it in once again, getting some extra couple seconds off, and this Uber is so much better immediately. Takes down the gun, shoves them all into spawn. Kobe and Sophie are not in a good way. Soapy dead, now Kobe dead. They finally have some room to get out here. The heavy on the field, extremely weak though, collecting some kills. Do they have enough in the tank? The final rock from Donovan will not be enough, and even though it was a bit shaky, and it might have been, gone the other way if one or two shots would have landed or wouldn't have landed, G6, they hold on for dear life, find their way out into two, uber intact, and now they have, even though Kobe's not quite here, on the move now, in through Valley to try to find a way into mid. And immediately Jay exploding is gonna thwart their plans in some degree.
So unfortunate. Jay, he literally just peeked the corner. He gets bombed by a soldier. I think maybe a sticky also damaged him. So, like you said, that Uber from like a G6 is not going to be able to get them any further distance other than second, but they'll be happy to not be on their last. Franzj can be over in Cafe. Exile just trying to peek. If a bomb comes in, the spoon, he gets launched high, and this guy is sticky. The air sticky connects from Logan. Great stuff there. And that is going to be the sack attempt from Franzj. We have Soapy getting very aggressive over in Cafe. Donovan just at a corner, trying to see if he can maybe cut him off as everyone else on G6 tries to peek Donovan. Goes into Cafe. He does trade out with one, and that's going to be okay. G6 can still peek this, and it seems like they want to get aggressive over towards Choke.
Yeah, gotta find some sort of opening. They notice that there's still this disconnect between Sam and Loga that's kind of existed all season, and they go for the pick but don't succeed in getting the kill, so gonna go ahead and go back to square one and have to back up. Zam was actually in kind of deep as well, tried to go through Cafe and make something happen, but the side of G6 has already pretty much left the vicinity of the choke and are back to their normal holding spot on top of the platform. So the ball's in Franzj's court. Just some time bitten off the clock. No off classes or anything off of the death of Zam, so still trying to go for a normal sack of some sort. Going over to Cafe, both soldiers there, so see how they begin to work this. They're not separated at all, so they're going to come from the same direction, if anything, which is honestly not what you would normally expect. Zam just sends it in, goes towards Logan, is not successful to Kobe. Extremely fast onto Sam, backs him up a bit. Soapy, he immediately took some damage, tried to get in. Sam had that choke locked down despite the low HP, so overall the counter sack attempts are, going to take a bit to actually go off. So if he's going for try number two, meets two scouts, not going to be too lucky there. And that might be all she wrote. I mean, Jay's actually, no, Jay wants to go in. He sees a family Uber in the making, and he's right if he can get these flashes off. Finds one, a little bit of room game for the side of the red team. Way more flashes than Sam. Sam's going in.
Oh my God.
He's taken out of the stratosphere. Donovan dying as well. They still participated in that Uber Franzj. They knew they had to flash so much, and yet they still wanted to be that aggressive towards the choke and immediately get punished for it. A missed call there is monumentally in G6's favor, as they can't even get the forward spawn here because it's locked down. So G6, really good job from Jay. I didn't even see it at the beginning on how bad that Uber exchange would have been for Franzj, and it almost seems like Franzj didn't even realize it either. As even though it's still even Ubers, so much ground has been gained, and they're even poking and prodding into last to see if they can get someone who's unbuffed, take down the gun before it reaches level 3, or just
Kobe's
Kobe
just in
right now.
Oh my God.
Shot. It won't be there. Logai's still alive. There's a lot of weak G6 players, but I don't see anyone from the blue team on the move to sack.
Now, Exile was peeking over and lower, and yeah, G6 were really, really aggressive. Jay just kind of coming in with that Uber and was able to, like you said, expertly get everyone flashed, and now they're here on Franzj's last. No one able to make anything work. Exile, oh my God, that's an insane headshot onto Soapy Meister. You're going to see Zam jumping into lobby, just trying to see if he can replicate what he did earlier, but there's no one in the lobby for him to pounce on, so now Exile over and lower might be able to get a shot onto bot mode, who's come up on Sniper, so a little bit of an SVS action, not the general place that you would see it. I know, it's such a weird angle to see these snipers operating at, because normally they're back on last, and they are going to rotate back there. Exile getting the heck out of lobby, so now all eyes on the snipers to see who can hit heads first and the best, as bot mode is over top right, gonna go for the peek over onto Sam. Might have had the shot, not able to make it, but if they didn't know before, they definitely know now.
It is important to note that Donovan is on the battalions, so they anti crit and damage. His charge isn't anything to write home about quite yet, but that could be a factor as the time ticks down. Bot mode will die to Exile, so that is the first SVS here so far. And doesn't seem like Donovan's kind of on the move. I doubt he actually wants to sack, though. He probably just wants to see if he can peek around and farm some damage while some pressure is alleviated from the sniper threat, but he'll find no such thing. So Franzj in it for the long haul here. Exile still poking and prodding inside the lobby to see if he can get another shot off, but won't be so lucky. So overall, nothing too special to write home about. He is going to check quickly on Spy to see if there's an off class. Will not find anything because Bot mode respawned on Scout. And first step for G6, you gotta kill this gun. You know what side of the map it's on, really. So you just gotta go ahead and try to spam it down, and if you can't, you could just try to disrespect the demo and try to run through the stickies or something, and then the other person gets in while the gun can't see him. But Kobe, he peeks from lower, immediately eats it. That's gonna be the sack, and the gun got really low, but didn't quite die, so that is the sack there. And Donovan, once again, on the move. Exile's actually on the move as well. Might have gone for a hero peek there, but overall, no kills, no death, just another reset, and more time written off the clock.
Yeah, more time, around about a minute 30 left for G6 to try and play with here to generate some momentum and get on to Franzj's last. They're still going to try and go for the gun. They can maybe have the opportunity to sack one, and Soapy Meister might be that sack. Super weak. Over in lobby, peels back for his scout to help him escape, and you know, a death there would have just kind of forced them into taking an Uber exchange, but the banner has come out, so now if they do take the Uber exchange, they're going to have to go into the banner. They rush in onto Sam. They force out the Uber from Franzj. They're not getting anything else with this. Jade getting launched into the sky. Howard getting, oh my god, he got chuckled 3 times in a row. Jesus. And now this is a disaster for like a G6. They did get the Uber out from Franzj, and I doubt Franzj are going to push out with it, but with only 40 seconds left, they can try and refight, but there's going to be no Uber, and in fact, Franzj are going to be closer to Uber if it does come into play.
Yeah, you'd have to worry about bat caps, and you could leave the gun on last, but if they don't bat cap, then you're down a scout. So like if you're not having a scout cap, then your pocket scout has to be inside capping, but then he's inside, and it's like, no. Okay, yeah, you chill. Especially because you know they're just going to do this. Yeah, they full send it. Over on the barrel side, they might get the kill on the Zam. They've given up a lot already for the side of G6. You gotta be careful. No one's going for anything sneaky on 2. The timing has been fine so far. Not able to get there quite in time. And they will full wipe. It'll be a round reset. And back to another mid we go, where Franzj, their mid so far, the last one they did, they've recognized that so far G6 soldiers have not full sent committed the first time they ever bombed. They did a pretty good job of recognizing that pattern now. So I'm kind of curious how quickly it'll take G6 to recognize that, you know, your distraction isn't distracting anymore. You gotta actually commit on this one straight out the gate with both your soldiers. And we'll see how the mid turns out.
Sam playing very far back, kind of anticipating that Soapy bomb, getting early damage onto the demos. Now the soldiers from Franzj, Zam, oh my god, and Donovan just flying in, trying to land. They're mulching in, so much damage going back and forth. Kobe now is trying to get one onto Loga. He's weak. Soapy going for the bomb. Bot mode cleans him up. It's going to be a scrappy DM fight. Seems like G6 are winning it. Here comes Exile over in the low ground. Soapy is able to get that final kill, and I don't know about you, Jared. It was looking pretty okay for Franzj at the beginning. Donovan and Sam went in immediately, and they got a lot of damage, but just not enough onto the same target, and G6 were able to come back in later in.
Yep, the counter initiation was really good. Even though the soldiers went in and they found their targets on the side of G6, and immediately 3 players dropped, they had to give up a lot of their own as well, so it just made it an even situation that didn't actually give them an inherent advantage. At the tail end of things, DM fight went G6's way for sure, so try to be cheeky on 2, but unable to have the player advantage there to hold on it for too long, got bullied out of it. And overall, the thing they have to work on, at least, they didn't need the cap per se, because they do have ad to take it. 50, dwindling, but they're on the move now through the valley area. Sam a bit too close. I don't think he got the memo, but it is crits. Maybe that's why he's that close. The beam was spotted. Howard wall shot by the side of Zam. So many important classes going down, but Logai still alive throughout it all. They're trying to take down Exile, Donovan, and Yummy, who are the red health players. But Jay is finding Logai. Potentially needs to chase him down. Soapy could use some help as well, as the Yum Yum pistol is being pretty lethal right now. But Jay, the arrow from Logai kills him. He's alive. And Yum Yum, will he get this kill? No, they're both gonna just call a truce and back up. Unless Soapy trying to stay maybe extra damage, slow them down just a tad, but overall, I mean, I was confused for a moment, but it turns out they spotted the crits beam, so that's why they were so close. Did a really good job of making it difficult for them to actually get through, and the Logai arrow kill was extremely clutch, keeps them in this game, and Howard has respawned on crits once again, which they're gonna have to swat that a second time if they want to make sure that they're not continually surprised by it. So they're on the move now.
You probably don't expect it the second time is maybe what G6 are thinking, as Donovan gets absolutely levitated, shot it out in the sky. Sophie gonna try and go for a flank. Meet Sam over in Cafe. Nice, actually, oh my, Sam takes down bot mode. Here comes the big bomb. Everyone on Franzj did back up there, maybe worried about the flank shove from like a G6. And now we are going to see Howard up at that 100%. I don't think they know. Maybe they were able to get the read, but if they were, they might be playing a bit closer because, I mean, Uber trumps crits Krieg as long as you know about it. And I don't think that Franzj do. Otherwise, this is going to be another opportunity for G6, particularly Logan, to maybe try and get the unexpected surprise drop on them.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I mean, they know now. He popped Uber. They're trying to run towards anyone to be able to get this Uber and find some extra kills, but oh, Zam barely getting a flash. I mean, he hasn't been so lucky enough to be able to get that much damage, but he did survive at least. Sam, extremely far forward, might be the target of a bomb. It's actually going to be Logai in the corner, taken down. It's a mulch from the side of G6. Only Sam left alive, in fact, even though I thought he'd be the one under the most threat, but I mean, they bit off more than they can chew. They thought that with their Uber, they'd be able to chase down some players in Valley and get some kills and go from there, but not having a scout ready there to run in the Valley and having it be just a soldier is not going to be enough, and the extra lingering there seals the deal. They get whittled down. G6 collect all those kills. Really great job from Kobe and Soapy with the initiation there, and there's not even a defense on last because of the mulch that happened on 2. So shoes on the other foot now. The second time we've seen a full wipe happen on second with last completely undefended, point vulnerable. It's a 3-2 game in G6's favor.
Yeah, the first time G6 have been in the lead of the game so far, and immediately you can see Sophie trying to get that early damage onto Sam. Not kill him, but just make sure, like you said, all the heals have to be tanked towards that demo man. Yum Yum taking control of the high ground. No one going for the bombs just quite yet. Sophie's just kind of waiting over in his team's choke. Sam over on the point, but Exla gets the first pick onto Kobe. Everyone on G6 are having to back up through choke. They're all so weak. Really great, just corralling from everyone on Franzj, and they're going for Donovan, immediately making his way through choke. Can they turn this into some type of sack attempt? While Kobe is down, Sam bombs in, is probably going to be shot out of the sky unless a miraculous arrow heads his way. It doesn't. That's going to be the sack from Franzj, as they're going to be able to win mid, but nothing more.
Yeah, by slim margins, really, just a small amount of damage is the main thing. But Jay, he wants to go for the previous play. He sees Sam alone, and Logai will end up dropping it, and Donovan dying as well. So only 3 left alive. I mean, they have their Uber intact, but they can't lose them. They lost Yum Yum. They lost 4 players. I mean, Franzj, amazing team, but from a bird's eye view, you can see they have the same problem over and over again whenever they do fail, which is being disconnected just a tad. And it really bit them that time. That was a very extreme example of it. I mean, they still have this Uber as a tool they can use, and Exile is calling for it. He wants it. There are some kills to be gained. Azam is going to die, but able to get the kill on the Jay. Unsuccessful force there. Powered by the Valley side areas. They're going to have to run towards him, but Logai, Donovan, both extremely weak. They don't have the help to miss this. And now Sam, left alone, popped in the corner, is going to get taken down by Sophie. Gives up his life for it. There's a 1v1 happening over in the corner. Yum Yum tried to fight bot mode, and we'll have to run back to the medic. Pipes across the world, making these scouts be in a world of hurt. They still have this Uber, though. They can chase them down. They don't want to get too forward here from the side of G6, especially because they don't have the scout speed right now, so have to be careful. Jay will join the fight. He's here now for the defense of mid. They know they still have a small disad to work with, and player disad from their players still respawning and rolling out, so able to get through Valley from the side of the blue team. Not completely, but I think they've realized that they were slow enough. I think they had 1 player or 2 players still rolling out themselves, unable to alleviate pressure on other doorways, and not the best of margins to force that push happening. So we'll back up. Sack comes out. Sophie. Oh, it's a 2-man though. Didn't expect that in bot mode. Makes a sick play. No pun intended. Will give up his life, but gets the force. Others in.
They're just immediately in. They go through choke while everyone on Franzj tries to get in through Valley. Now Yum Yum, he's the only one over towards choke. The huge bomb coming in from Donovan, doing so much damage. Kobe just waiting for an arrow. Here comes Yum Yum back in through Cafe. G6, now they're the ones getting surrounded. Logan, he's on the point, disconnected from the combo. Jay doing everything he can to keep Howard alive. He's so weak, might be able to barely get out. Same cannot be said for Logan, as here comes Soapy over through Valley, is gonna try and go for the bomb onto Logan. He hits one rocket. Can he hit the other? No. Donovan gonna do everything to protect his medic, but a pipe from out of nowhere. G6, they want to fight this once again. He's so weak. He has to come back down and try and get some help as G6. Can they fight this with both their scouts? They take down one on Sam. Here comes the bomb. Donovan, he just fade bomb away. Jay on bait. He's still alive. He gets on Oh my god, he just almost got onto Lolga. He doesn't get the kill, and I think they've been able to hold on to their second Jared, but it was so dicey.
Risky play from the side of G6. They really wanted to fight while both scouts weren't there from the side of Franzj, and they knew that Lolga was weak, but all it ends up being is them losing both their scouts as well, so the play does not quite work out. They end up losing mid, and you know, they don't get the force. At least it'll stalemate out. You know, it could have been worse. They could have gone to a point where they had disad on their own too, or something along those lines. So you gotta, you know, little losses are fine. You just move on from it. So ball's in the court of Franzj. They've been in this position before. Need to find an angle here to get the force onto Howard. Have both soldiers over by the cafe area once again, which is usually both teams don't stack their soldiers as much, so it might be a bit of a surprise. Didn't work the previous time, but you never know. You saw the crits twice in a row. You could see the soldiers in the same spot twice in a row. Yeah. Although Zam's not in the most aggressive spot, he's kind of just whacking the wall. Like, it's not his job. I'm like like, is Donovan running a banner? He's not. Maybe they're just trying to run time off the clock to get him bored.
Maybe, you know, that could be the meta strategy, just for the enemy team and then try and go for something. Definitely actually kind of doable when we had the 10-minute round timer. You could definitely just stalemate for 7 minutes and then just try and go for some type of off-timing push while everyone is just kind of bored out of their minds. Luckily, we don't have that anymore. I just have to say, Lolga played fantastic in that push attempt from like a G6. Managing to survive that is absolutely insanity. But now it's going to be all eyes on Howard to be the one to try and survive all the sack attempts headed his way. Zam, aggressive, over towards Valley, is just dodging all the spam headed his way, not going to be able to dodge it enough. He goes down. Now G6 going to have the opportunity to try and go for their own counter sack.
Yeah, I thought the flank might have been vulnerable, but it doesn't seem like he had very much help, so it was very spontaneous and doesn't really work out. But once again, just Uber. Bought a lot of space there, you know, it's not too bad. They're able to flash a lot of players here. Got tons of room, especially because Soapy was behind. It's actually a pistol from across the map from bot mode, able to get the kill there. And Franzj have not learned their lesson about this J-Uber exchange coming through Valley. The failure to lock that down has been a big thorn in their side here, and Soapy coming the back lines will not find too much. We'll tie them up just a tad, but overall, very simply a cap gain in G6's favor is Zam. He's tried to buy some room, will end up dying. It's a trade though, enough damage onto J to allow Exile to get the frag, but I don't think it's going to change much of the result of the fact that, well, actually another fight's happening on 2 here. They do have the respawn advantage for the blue team, so long term, as long as they can keep this scuffle going, they will be able to hold on to it for long term, and just the simple fact of them bursting out of bats is enough to allow G6 to, you know, say screw it, back up. Didn't want to go for that play, just be fine on mid and settle things down. They played risky earlier on in the match, didn't really work out quite in their favor. So not going to play risky this time around, just play it safe, especially because they're in the lead, and only 35 seconds left until we hit infinite overtime means now is not the right time necessarily to go for something extremely high risk and just end up flat on your face. So even Ubers towards the choke area. Soapy's in Valley, so we'll see how they want to manufacture this sack and a force attempt on the low guy.
Yeah, G6 in a very good opportunity to really take the map, because like you said, only 10 seconds until we hit continuous overtime, which means only one more round that like a G6 needs to win until they take the map. Could be this round. Is both soldiers. Goodbye. Soapy Meister going in. He goes for the spoon. He's not going to be able to get it. He gets one rocket off. Oh my, how's he still alive? He finally goes down, but they lose so many on Franzj. They've given up so much space. Donovan might go down as well. Sam over in the low ground is actually going to be able to find one onto Kobe. He's getting chased over and lower. Hits a pipe on the bottom, but no one's there to clean him up. And with that bomb, it's just Soapy making so much space and staying alive, they're able to take second.
Extremely confusing to me, the series of events that just happened there too, but can't even talk about it. Exile gets taken down. This Uber hasn't even been used yet. There's dying pre-Uber exchanges so far on the side of Franzj. G6 is doing a really good job of spotting these little small details and just abusing the heck out of him. Soapy gets the nice air shot onto Donovan, taking him out. Young able to get a return frag on a bottom, but the cap time reigns king as G6 take it 4-2 on Sunshine, and we will move on to Gullywash.
4-2, and I mean, you know, we don't go to 5 anymore, and it's not like Franzj had 4 rounds themselves, but it's kind of a reverse. It was a reverse something, a reverse 4-0. Because I think Franzj, they were up 2, and then G6, you know, they got their stuff together. You know, they not necessarily the mids, because Franzj were back and forth on that the whole time, really. But basically everything else, you know, they were able to get into a good position and able to take 4 rounds back to back to back to back. So, you know, really great stuff for Leica G6, especially considering all of the issues that we kind of mentioned earlier that they're currently dealing with. Jay Hunpei just jumping in on combo scout, bot mode being sick. So, it does make sense that they probably do need a little bit to, one, to warm up, but two, to just make sure that things are gelling as a team, because I don't think any of these guys had pre-game scrim, so they're coming into this a little bit cold.
True, that's always a variable. One thing that I think that sums up some of the confusion parts that aren't patterned in the way that Franzj played was like the last fight that we just had on 2, where Soapy was living forever and probably should have died much quicker. So the players are probably off doing something else just as good, right? But then as we're watching that, and I can imagine that that's where the camera is looking on. Like, I have no clue personally what's happening over on the other side of 2, where G6 is just walking in. Like, I guess a big question is where are all these players if they're not killing Soapy, but also not preventing G6 from just walking in. So I think the underlying thing is Franzj seem a bit disjointed, I think, so far in this game. Not necessarily due to only G6 dismantling them or only their internal problems, but just as a whole, I think that is something that can be really scary for Franzj fans, because that's not a map-specific thing. Like, if it's one thing if you're like, oh, they always push this door and that door isn't working, or like they're getting wrapped on this map, but this was like a very core, there's something fundamental here within a team that is will transcend maps, and if you don't fix it in the halftime, that's gonna bite you going into this next map. Especially, it's extremely important, not just because you lost it, but this is your pick that was already extremely close. They won Gullywash by thin margins. I remember it was a 4-3, I think, in the later half of the season. So if you want to repeat that or make it even better, then this is something that you gotta, you got what, 5-10 minutes? You gotta figure out what mistakes were made, not on just a sunshine level, but on a wide level as a whole. Because obviously G6 is playing slightly different with Jay added as one of the callers for the team. You immediately saw it when they lost that first round from trying to push out a last, because that's not something the normal G6 would call when you have Caps and Logai on medic. And obviously it still kind of existed with Howard on medic, but with Caps gone, it really, really showed. And these aggressive Uber exchanges, the amount of times that they happened is, I don't think, necessarily something that Caps would have gone for per se. So you can see it's kind of throwing him for a loop as well. It's making it that much more difficult to keep yourself, to focus on yourself and your own problems, because you have to deal with, I mean, I don't want to say a new team, but in a way it feels like a different new version of G6, just from, something as simple as a main caller swap, can really do that.
No, it definitely can, and just looking at the logs, Jay, his impact being felt, like you said, both terms in the calls and the plays that were being made, but also just, the damage, we kind of knew it going in, but, he's got the mechanics to be here. 21-12, 293 DPM, tied almost exactly with the other top damager, who is Sam, the demo on Franzj, also doing 293. And it is a little bit of what you said earlier, that unfortunately, actually, that's another pretty impressive stat. Just to ignore what I was about to say, Lolguy only dying 6 times and Howard dying 11. So, I don't know. The fact that G6 were able to win that with their medic almost dying twice as much as the enemy medic is pretty impressive. And, if you are a G6 fan, or if you are like a G6, that's definitely something that, sure, you were able to pull it around. You were down 2-0. And you were able to make it a 4-2 game. That's pretty good. You have to congratulate yourself on that. But you also have to be thinking, all right, how are these soldiers getting onto our medic so often, and we're not able to get onto Lolguy? Because there were so many times in some of those chaotic fights that Franzj would lose, but G6 were still not able to get onto Lolguy, and they still lost their medic in the process. So that's something that maybe Franzj can feel happy about, but G6, they go on, they win this, they go up against whoever in the upper bracket finals. That's definitely something that they got to pay attention to.
Yeah. I think one thing important to notice is for those medic stats in particular, that remember Howard's deaths are kind of inflated by 2 because of that one, that one drop that they had, and that wasn't
true.
They didn't push out because they just wanted the round reset, and then they just full sent it, and he died in that one as well. But I think the important thing to think about, regardless of the stats, is throughout a match, who your focus during fights needs to be before the fight start, obviously, and becomes really, really apparent. It will fluctuate a lot depending on how aggressive or passive different players decide that they need to play. You see it most commonly with soldiers and how aggressive they are, and even if you jump, like, are you going to commit? But you even see it a little bit with, like, down positioning, or, like, how far flank scouts are willing to, like, break off beam and be in no man's land. And that will fluctuate tons, and I think G6 does a really good job of making it not completely clear who is the easy kill. Like, do we need to actually focus these soldiers, or do we not? For a while, you didn't need to, and then all of a sudden you did. But I think for the side of Franzj, it becomes pretty clear that there's always someone not on beam that's very, very killable. And G6 has done a pretty good job of doing that, which is why in all these family Uber exchanges, someone has died, like, in the middle of the Uber or before it even happens. So we're going live on Gullywash. We'll see if a different change of scenery spells different things for Franzj, and we are not off to a good start if you're a Franzj fan.
No, that's going to be Soapy doing kind of what he did, and Donovan is going to be taking down Soapy, just immediately bombing Sam, kind of doing the fast Bashi rollout. He's over in a second, trying to see if he can maybe go for something more, not going to be able to find anything. And seems like Franzj, they're thinking about fighting it. Yum Yum over in Victor might be able to get the one against Kobe. He's going for the 1v1, but thinks better of it, just going to be backing up onto last. So not a great way to start off this second map, which, like you said, is Franzj's map pick. They're going to have Exile up on Sniper. Luckily, they didn't lose their medic. Logai's going to be up, and with Exile finding a nice shot onto Kobe, that is going to slow down G6 just a little bit to help Franzj get up some defenses as... Oh, they actually find one on the Logan.
Yep, Zam immediately pulling the trigger, going in for the counter sack off of the kill they got, and did not expect... They don't expect the sniper shot. They definitely, you know, you don't necessarily know where someone's going to be coming from if they do an immediate counter sack. So they get that kill into Logan. Donovan tries to get adventurous. Exile getting another return kill on Soapy, just collecting soldiers all across the world, but will get taken down by bot mode, who's kind of stuck a little bit, not fully. He has his team helping now, and they will be able to get themselves into water. And with 2 down for the side of Franzj, this is a really easy treasure cook. Zam on top of the point, able to get some damage onto Jay. The Uber's taken out, and they are going to be able to maybe get this kill on Zam. Family Uber flashing over the world. No, Jay is going to die. Zam in water will maybe eventually die. Howard's kind of alone. Is he just going to win on the point? No. Okay, I thought for a second there that he was just going to step on that thing and win. That was extremely scary for the side of Franzj, but they hold on. They get the J kill, they get the Howard kill. Logai's alive. No one on the side of G6 is in a really good position to back cap, but they don't know that themselves, so they gotta, you know, try to figure out how they want to maneuver through here. It is gonna slow them down. It does allow bot mode to finally get in position and allow Jay and Howard to respawn. They're working their way through now, and Soapy in a very, very high spot. He's going ahead and bombing now. Finds Logai maybe? No damage to write home about. And that's going to be all she wrote for the second hold. And Donovan go for something, but will not find too much there.
He didn't find too much. He got in behind and was trying to go for the pick, trying to go for the pincer play. Now everyone else on Franzj making their way through Choke Kobe, taking a lot of damage as Zam gets launched up sky high craters to his death. Bot mode probably going to fall as well, and does. Exile finding that pick. So going to be even. Actually, Logan getting another one onto Exile. It seems like G6 with that pick, they might want to try and refight this. They are going to have the fast respawn, but now here comes the Uber Logan, completely caught out. Can they get onto Howard? Yum Yum with the pistol, trying to connect. Howard, so wait, there's going to be Logai with the arrow, cleans it up, but everyone else on Franzj has been taken down by these soldiers in the backline. Logai probably going to fall to them as well, just trying to ring around the rosy. Unfortunately, he's going to be the ash that all falls down. Zam over in Victor is going to escape just barely, and what was looking okay for Franzj with that pick onto Logan and onto Howard immediately devolves as everyone else gets taken down.
Yeah, I mean, a bit too ambitious there, though. The main reason why they're able to take mid absolutely for free in the beginning as a concept, despite the respawn disadvantage of going into enemy territory, was the threat of the Uber. But when they go in and they only kill one player, even if it is a demo, and they have to basically end nowhere near mid in no man's land enemy territory, it means that there's not really an escape route to get back to all your teammates in time, and they don't have to go that far to reach you as well. You're going towards the respawners. They're gonna have a wave of people to wipe you out. So got too ambitious there past the Logan kill, and at the end of the day they find themselves back on last. Bot mode,
No!
They didn't see him cross, and Zam was jumping over to block it, but just didn't get there quite in time, and that's why you gotta have your eyes peeled at all moments, and not keeping an eye on River there. Or maybe they did, and it was a miscommunication of who was going to ring. Either way, not being on point there is a very simple round loss, and the G6 puts the point on the board.
That is so unfortunate for Franzj, just completely kind of missing the game there as it happened in front of their eyes. Now Soapy not able to get the damage onto Sam. He's going to be going for a fadeaway bomb. Kobe over infinated, but it's going to be Sam getting the first pick onto bot mode. Kami. Oh my god, he just nukes onto Logai. He's going to be taken down. Sam does find both of them, and Donovan tries to go in, gets taken down. They want to get onto Howard here. They're 4 up. Sam going to be bombing and forcing everyone on G6 back. Taken down very, very weak is going to create her. But if they're able to get on the Howard, and they do nice stickies from Sam, but have they expended everyone for it, they might have Logai. He's going to be up now, but he doesn't have anyone to heal. Is finally going to get a respawner here, and I think mid is out of the question. They're going to be able to get on the second. They're going to have very, very small Uber advantage and a lot of ground to try and work back.
Logan sticking forward, making sure they can't use their heal advantage from the respawner at all, and
Soapy hiding.
Yeah, they recognize that things are a bit fishy here. There's like no one's here on 2. If they're not capping, they're doing something weird. So Soapy hiding. They haven't spotted him yet. He's gonna help with the Zam pressure onto the choke. They just flood through 6-man, but they were very, very prepared for it. Almost saw a melee kill on one of the scouts there as well. And Franzj, their methodicalness of going out into 2 there was very, very good. It was kind of scary at points because you're gonna wonder if they were gonna be too slow and actually allow G6 to just bust through. But even if Logan slowed him down a bit, they knew it would be a second before Howard to get there because of him being such a late death. And we're very prepared for the eventual bust through of Choke to just completely flip things around. And now with full Uber ad, the only thing that really stands in the way completely is just the bot mode sniper.
Bot mode up on Sniper, looking towards Choke. Are they going to be able to get the read and make sure that no one falls down to the Sniper? They've got Zam bombing in. Soapy going in for the very big bomb, is not going to be able to find the kill or the force. Does manage to stay alive as Kobe tries to hold Victor. Yum Yum going to be taken out. Logai takes down the Sniper, and now with 2 down, that's going to be the call for G6 to back up. Still very, very slight Uber advantage for Franzj, but Howard already at 90%. You'd have to be a madman to try and take it in, but Sam, he's walking through. Seems like that's exactly what they want to do. They're getting onto the point. A lot of captain. They force out the Uber. They do find one. They're super weak over on G6 now. They're getting the respawns. They should be able to hold on to it, and I think Franzj might have been up a bit more than against you. Sam, he does get the trade, so I think at bare minimum, they should be able to stay in here. Oh, they're just going in. Yum Yum, he might be able to do it. He gets onto the point. Howard has to block it. Oh, with the melee. Oh, but J-Bay comes back in time, but Exile, he's trying to find, can he find anyone? Logai, he's too far committed. And Franzj not able to make it work. They're going to lose the push, and now with Uber advantage and heals advantage, G6 should be able to push out.
Did Howard see it the last second? I just didn't notice it.
Well, he
definitely didn't see this. So Zam with the amazing play there, coming at the last second, taking Howard out of the equation, going to make it more difficult for them. They clawed themselves out of that last one. I mean, they had the respawn advantage, but it was really looking like that Franzj was going to be able to win it with the Yum Yum play in water. Because I thought it was unseen at least. Maybe it was unseen, and just coincidentally, Howard was walking over there, like, so when he did get on point, it was just a step away, and he was able to block it himself. But either way, Franzj, not all bad. Find themselves back on mid, but it is a still small ad to use. Bot mode is on Spy. He's not just checking off classes. He is indeed behind on mid, so we'll be able to see what door they're poking through if they are going to use this 20% ad. The question is how long will it take for him to actually go in? It's probably not immediately, because if he goes in and doesn't get the stab, that's even more of a reason for them to try to use the ad. But I think it's kind of clear at this point. They're trying to see, if it's viable to just go in early. They just blind bomb in, maybe catching Howard by surprise. Sam can get the damage. He's not there in time to get flashed. Only got the 1 bit of damage onto Howard. Bot mode Spy isn't going to be needed per se. Sophie goes in, finds the rocket on the Logai, gives up his life, but there's some scrambling happening inside the upper area of River. The force is gained from the side of Franzj, and bot mode, he did his job. He called it was choke. He's going back to spawn to swap off, but he's going to find Yum Yum thinks that he only is going to be fighting one person. He's like, oh, I'll just fight Soapy. I'll 1v1 him. But, or Kobe. But Kobe's here, bot mode's here as well. They're traveling in 2s. Now he has to go for the Soapy play. Different soldier, and he's immediately out of there. So now Yum Yum's like, oh, what do I do now? I guess I play for mid. But it's kind of stalematy, so I don't know. Maybe he has to wait and be the counter sack and just bide his time. But considering the way that the stalemates break, how people go behind, if he's not there to be able to help deal with people inside lobby, it might be kind of sketchy. And this honestly isn't even. It's 15% ad. They could try to walk this early and actually use the ad, which just explains why Franzj is actually playing so afraid.
And they're playing very afraid. They've basically given up second completely. It's really only Donovan on the point. Yum Yum, however, is going to touch the point. That is going to draw a few players back from G6, as now they are going to try and fight it over on second. Soapmeister bombing around, collapsing onto Donovan over in the drop down. They do find that one pick. They know Yum Yum is in behind. That's not going to stop them from capturing up second. Kobe a little bit weak over towards choke. Yum Yum just trying to see if there's anything he can possibly do to be of use, be of service to his team. But at the moment, he's just going to be running around in the back lines. It is still going to be even Ubers, so his team's not at risk of falling just quite yet, but with that player being a known quantity in the back lines, it could make it a little bit easier for G6 to try and pressure cook this here.
Yep. Soapy is watching fine for Yum Yum, which means there's less spam damage to be used from the side of G6 to pressure cook in the last, going to make things a bit more difficult. Kobe is going to opt to go on the point himself. Yum Yum's going to die in the back line. Good damage on Exile. No one's really watching. Once again, we see the J Uber exchange comes in, kind of catching them by surprise, and now no scouts on the field. Zam dies as well. Their whole, it's a family Uber. It's a family Uber every single time from Franzj. You can see it in Low Guy's positioning at the end. He's just standing still. He's like, yeah, we lost. 3 of us died in the middle of the Uber. It's over. That's got to be extremely frustrating from Franzj, and I'd said that this is not a map problem. This is a team problem, whether you view it as your own issue or just the other team being very, very good at spotting potential weaknesses and exploiting them to the fullest. But it's a whole lot of deja vu despite the different scenery, and we're off to another mid with G6 in the lead 2-0.
2-0. I mean, this is the lead that Franzj had when the G6 were able to turn it around, and this time it's going to be the Soldiers trying to do exactly what G6 did, get aggressive, but not having nearly the same success. Yum Yum very weak, just barely being able to make it back as everyone on G6 barreling in through Big Door. They're going to be able to take control of mid, take control of second and lobby as well. Soapmeister already jumping over into River, maybe trying to set things up for a sack as Low Guy did survive. They are going to get their respawners up now. Both soldiers are going to be able to respawn and be there to try and stuff these doorways and deny some opportunities. As the crit comes out, didn't even notice it. Can they find anyone? I don't think they're going to be able to. No damage has been sticking as the soldiers do trade, but that's not going to be enough for them to be able to push on to last.
So we'll see how they begin to move out here. They have swapped off the guns. They do intend to, at least to some degree, especially with Jay dead, makes it that much harder to actually go for something. But Zam, he just wanted to poke out bats and see if he could go for, like, just a lobby clearing with the team, but it immediately explodes, and now it's even more and more difficult to actually use this ad at a last, because time's dwindling, and they know the bot mode is on the point. They're actually, the Logan pipe, they just win. They just win. They sent a scout to block the point to give the soldiers more room to actually apply spam, but a pipe comes from across the last Logan, helping the scout 1v1, getting the pipe onto, I think it was Yum Yum. Just makes it that much easier for bot mode to go ahead and be there, be a presence, and just cap it up, and no one, the second string of player to defend the point just isn't there in time. It's almost like they're just capping it under the Gnosis despite them knowing. So G6, a third round on the board, and last mid was Diabolical, and we'll see if they'll be able to provide similar results this time.
Soapmeister coming up, drop down as Kobe is also on the low ground, should be cleaned up, but Jay immediately gets the trade right back as Low Guy a little bit disconnected, has to jump down. Soapy coming in for the bomb, just absolutely nuking, but Zam and Sam finding 2 picks of their own, and seems like Franzj have been able to turn the tides. It's only going to be Jay left alive, and they know where he is. He's over in elbow. Can he find anything at all? He might be able to find an escape. He's traking over towards drop down, but no. Exile is going to be able to get the kill, and that is going to be a much needed mid win for Franzj because they're down 0-3. This is a turning point for them, because if they make it 0-4, it really becomes so difficult to try and get back into this game.
Taking Kobe out early in the mid made it really easy, especially with the fact that G6 fell off the high ground, didn't really have an escape when things went kind of sour. And the extra kill into Kobe while he was in lobby makes things even easier as well. They have the pyro and the gun on the field. Sam trying to take on the center gun and will succeed. Exile trying to be able to get some cap time, finds Soapy underneath in secret and be able to collect that frag. They are able to find some kills, but overall, only 2 left alive from G6J. The final person to defend this point. 1v3. We've seen him do before, but probably not against 2 buff scouts, and Franzj put themselves on the board with a pretty simple last person there, getting a couple kills before and after the Uber, making it a 3-1 game in G6's favor.
3-1 for like a G6, and Franzj gonna need a lot more of that. They show right there, you know, if they're able to win the mid dominantly, you know, they've got the They got the skills to be able to take that, make it a mid to last, which is how they won both of their previous rounds on Sunshine. So if they're able to do a little bit more of that, have a few better mids, but Sophie trying to deny them that opportunity, going aggressive. A lot of damage, however, onto Logan, very weak. G6 not having some great positioning, but they're still able to get one onto Donovan. Jay just walking forward onto Logan, might be able to get the kill and find, oh my god, a pipe from nowhere from Logan, finds two, and now it's gonna be Franzj on the back foot. Sam, he's on the low ground now. He's just standing still like Logai. He knew that his time was up, sent to the respawn room, and that is not how Franzj wanted that to go.
Logan's long range pipes are on point right now, whether it's direct or just making sure the rollers land where they need to. Also, Jay, kind of a psychopath play to go for that medic, but it works out. Just finds the opening, opts to go, and I'm supposed to be with Howard, but I see an opportunity, I'm going for it, and that really sets up to allow the medic to die there. So they find themselves with Ad, Howard alive and safe after all. Honestly, pretty smart play, recognizing that leaving your medic in that situation is going to still leave him safe because he has enough of a support group around him to prevent any sort of like threat against him. So they find themselves in river. Bot mode went into water. Probably wants a buff before they go or something along those lines. Or, yeah, he can't really get that, so he's just underneath. But they will finally go. It is crits. That is why they're a bit too slow, but Logan immediately explodes. All of the explosive classes here. Bot mode on top of the point. The Pyro's on the field. Exile needs to get healed a bit. Might just, oh, has the arrow, is fine. I was about to say he's going to run to his death, but Sophie fighting the Pyro is probably not something he really wants to do. They're still able to get at least a little bit of room here. Kobe tried to peek through the shutter area, but Exile with the reflect onto Sophie will be able to defend things long term. And the crits play does not quite work out this time. That's, I think, 0 for 2 for crits is in the last for Gullywash from the side of G6, but wouldn't be too surprised if we see it a third time as full Uber ad for the side of Franzj as they work themselves out through the river area. Sophie's not quite there to be able to do anything on the flank. It'd be kind of bot mode just going in for a solo play, sees that things are kind of stickied out, and Sophie's here now. Uber comes out, get the maybe kill on the Kobe? No, it's taking a bit. They finally get both soldiers, and back cap attempt thwarted. They were able to kill the person that got the force, but Uber gained. They might try to cut them off for thinking about it. They're sitting here. Scout crits?
They want to go. Bot mode is so aggressive. They're definitely thinking, but they might have telegraphed it too hard because everyone on Franzj is just going to get in through choke. But the sticky, the crits comes in. Can they find anyone here? They're very weak. But Sam, he gets two again. Amazing. Onto Jay and Howard is now everyone on G6. Can they turn the tides? Can they find onto Logai? Kobe, I think, is on shotgun. I don't know if that's going to be able to help him here, but he's waddling forward with it out. Can he MGE his way to victory? Potentially, as Howard is not going to be avenged. Logai stays alive. Jay Hunpei over towards choke as Soapy Meister is in behind. I don't know if they know Exile. It seems like they're checking it, so they do know there is some shenanigans afoot trying to protect Sam as he does spawn. They see Soapy Meister over towards Big No, but you got the opening on the Logai. Why is no one there? But he doesn't get the kill? What? He doesn't get the kill?
God. He
Wow.
is 21 HP and alive. 91%. Just one missed rocket is all you really need, and you're able to survive that. So really get jukes from the side of Logai. Honestly, that crits play, you could see with their positioning. They thought that, you know, they were gonna when Franzj was capping, I thought they would stack instead of leave one keep going. So Franzj finding himself in a good spot here. Full ad, they're kind of teeter-totting between, do we climb up or do we just cut them off? We don't want to accidentally like leave mid vulnerable where they back cap, so they're just kind of lingering, able to get a couple kills here and there. Able to sacrifice Donovan for some more room, and now the attempt at back cap is going to kind of come through. Howard is on top of the point. Uber does come out. They're going to have to kite to the other side of the map. Logan is not be able to be helped here, and they are in no man's land. This is not where you want to be, and it seems like the indecision from the side of Franzj really made it difficult for G6 to decide what they want to do. Like, is the back cap possible, or should we just cut our losses? And they make a decision, but it is incorrect as Soapy just dying in main, see if we find a way to be able to get in through lower, because thought they would maybe climb, but no. They're just walking straight into last. Off Uber, only 2 left alive, 2 explosive classes. Exile, too much time on the cap, and they put another point on the board, 1 step closer to tying up the game. And the Franzj have made this a 3-2 game in G6's favor.
3-2. G6 still in the lead, but Franzj starting to pick up the pace, kind of showing why they picked this map. I think the times we've seen them, it's really been the soldiers Zam and Donovan. Donovan especially on such a choky map. It is kind of his playground. It seems like he's finally being able to show that off. We come in onto another mid, gonna be just fade bombing away. No one committing just quite yet. Actually, Exile over on the point, just kind of running forward over at Sophie. It's gonna be a trade Yum for Kobe over on the low ground. Seems like it's a lot better positioning for G6 at the moment. Donovan over in drop down should be cleaned up as a G6. They've gotten the point. They're trying to peek over towards Choke. I think they're going to think better of it. Just slow things down for now. Rotate over towards Big Door. Maybe get someone in behind.
Yep, got the pick on the Yum and Don, which makes it that much easier to get behind. So Sophie is there.
Oh, they're just going to mid. They're just going to mid.
Oh, G6 did this the previous time they played Gullywash, where they just sent their full team through Big Door. Bot mode going for the exchange. Once again, flashes all across the world. Exile might get dropped, but gotta be able to spot this post-positioning properly. They saw some players in from the side of Franzj. Kobe with a shotgun and a nice arrow onto him is able to clean up two there, Yum and then Zam. And once again, Franzj, they are unable to read the Uber exchange. They flash a lot and or can't keep the ground they gained when they walked in, and you know they'll run in Exile, making sure that they're unable to get damage onto Logai. He's able to get out of there, but back to last they go in a fell clean swoop. So at least it's even Ubers, but really great plays from the side of G6. They're just keeping the ball rolling, just swap out the players. It's just bot mode instead of J this time, and they know the recipe for success, and they're not changing it.
Not changing it, and they don't need to. Like you said, they're still in the driver's seat, both in this round, but Donovan getting very aggressive. So now the Uber comes in, they're gonna be taking, oh my god, they just mulch onto Logan and Jay, but they have to worry about the back cap. Bot mode gonna be taken down. There is still someone in behind. It's Kobe over in water. Such an aggressive play coming out from Franzj, just kind of recognizing that they could get basically 2 picks for free, but they haven't taken care of this soldier. Kobe with this shotgun, such a menace. No one wants to fight him. Finally, Yum comes in. Kobe still wins it. He's so weak and he wins it with the shotgun. This guy's an MGE champ for a reason, because of it, because of that expert play from him. Franzj can't go out, even though they basically almost wiped everyone on G6.
Yeah, I mean, I love how spontaneous the Uber was, especially because you know that they didn't plan that ahead of time when they have Exile on Spy of all things, right? But at the end of the day, the simplest thing, like, yeah, let's kill the soldier in water. Let's just send one player, and that should be enough, right? Let's coin flip it. No, and that's what happens. And that's why you send 2 always, because they're what would have been probably like a relatively free second, just immediately gone. So Sophie bombs in, gets the 1 rocket, and doesn't quite get too much more than that. Donovan on Spy, actually committing out, is in lobby now. I think bot mode might be a little paranoid. No, he was just swapping off, so I don't think they know about the Donovan Spy. I didn't quite see if he was bumped or anything like that. Obviously, he has the full HP, but we'll see how things go here. Bot mode is up on Sniper. They got their full team ready for the side of G6. Donovan, you know, he is decloaking. Bot mode didn't hear him, obviously. He's just gonna get the simple sniper frag. Just buy time off the clock. 2 minutes. Barlow type's well played, and you know, it's not a flashy like Demoman or Medic kill, but you know, it's seconds off the clock, closer to the round reset where you go all the way back to mid. Cap time from Sophie, Pain Train.
What?
You see a soldier go into water, you think like, oh yeah, I mean he'll get on it, and it's not that big of a deal, but you know, it takes a sec to realize, oh wait, Pain Train. They go in for the exchange, then a class from the side of G6. Tons of flashes all across the board. The gun doesn't need to get spammed down. They're trying to build it up again, but Logan is there to make sure it does not succeed in getting built up. Exile on top of the point. Jay is going to poke and prod, finds him a secret, gets on top of the point, meat shots him a bit of a distraction. Logan just in there is able to get arrowed, so is alive for now. Only 3 alive and continuing to drop. G6, they got so much cap time there. They put Franzj in the hot seat, but do not succeed with the pressure cook. And they were going for the play, but don't
double
realize,
hide and
don't
wood?
realize, but the medic died.
They get Logai.
Yeah, not only did G6 not realize it'd be like a healed soldier going there, I think Logai didn't expect 2 players hiding in wood right there, so the stars align in the most perfect way for G6. And now with no heals on the side of Franzj, yeah, you got the point, but for how long? With no heals, you're not back half mid, you're just going straight to last. So really, it's just Donovan. He's on the sign in Big Door. Maybe he can get a kill, and then be existing behind. But Sophie's gonna find him via a little bit of a soldier duel. popped up into the air. Soapy just wants to run away to his teammates where he can get rehealed, let someone else that's buffed, you know, do their magic. And the shotgun, or no, it's bot mode that goes in. It'll collect that frag. So a nice opening pick. Plus with the ad, it's going to make it really simple to go ahead and go for this Uber. It's not guaranteed, but I mean, there's not better situations you could ask for in this type of moment.
Bot mode immediately going on to the point to just try and get some cap time. And they use the crits. Bot mode not able to get a lot. The crits, Zam's jumping it, but they still stand on it anyways. Jay, he just goes towards the point. All the projectiles were over up in Launchpad, just being honestly a distraction. I don't think the crits did that much, but it was just the cap time, both scouts being able to get onto it, and they really just force Franzj's hand, and they're making it a 4-2 game.
Yeah, I don't think Logan hit any stickies, but there was a rocket that went out and killed Sam, and Sam's dying again. Soapy will end up trading for that. So Franzj, they can play this. They play this really fast. That's why you see them instantly bombing in.
Oh,
they
Donovan!
Logan and Howard, and they play this the correct way. I think G6 might have thought that things were looking pretty good for them, but overall, with the heal advantage, Franzj, they pulled themselves out of a bad situation. Exile's actually on the chase because he knows, probably heard the health calls of what these remaining players are at, but isn't able to find anything, so goes back to mid with his team, and good job salvaging that. Have a nice Uber ad to work with, and there's not much left in the tank for the side of G6 to really work with here. They barely have any buffs on any of the players. They have their soldiers, like, not in the best position to bomb as well. So he's actually going to say screw it and see if we go behind, but they get the kill on the Zam, which is really nice. So the behind play does indeed work. Maybe gets the kill on the Donovan. Does not succeed, but the Uber is indeed forced. Gave up a lot for it. Can probably kill Jay as well. Got some damage on a Yum Yum, but will not be successful in getting that kill. So overall, getting 2 kills for an Uber, net. Not bad for the side of Franzj, not unhappy with it. And now they're poking in. They know that there's no Uber for Howard quite yet. Just walk in and win before the respawners get here. They have arrived though. They have to play this fast. They get the kill onto Howard, so long term a pretty good long guy. Kind of wants to leave, but they're getting so much damage. Soapy, Jay, last one's left alive. 4 up for the fight of Franzj. Soapy gets 1, but no heals available for him. It's Jay against the world. He has to fight this off for 6 seconds, and he gets the 1. He didn't do it before, maybe he can do it this time, but no. He's 1 HP, gets pistol down. Got some nice damage on the wall guy, but another round in Franzj's favor. Very close game, 3-4. Deja vu in terms of scoreline, looking kind of not exact, but similar to what the previous time these guys played Gullywash looked like, and it's only going further as we have not quite hit infinite overtime yet. Still got a little over 3.5 minutes left to go. But if G6 they're able to win this minute, get another nice last push, they are really going to seal the deal.
Oh, and Yum Yum is there to protect his demo. Soapy going to be taking advantage, shot down for trying to get onto Sam so often. They're finally being able to key onto that strategy from like a G6 and kind of shut them down because of it. Now they're going to be the ones able to win mid. They only lost 1. They're trying to peak choke almost immediately, and like you said, yeah, not even into continuous overtime. It's already a 4-3 games. The rounds have been very quick so far from both of these teams, and we might be able to see another quick one, but things are slowing down at least for the meantime. It is going to be
sniper.
even Ubers as Zam. He comes up on Sniper. It's his turn to shine. So there's going to be 1 less soldier for Franzj at the moment as a Zam up trying to hit some heads. He's going to be posted over towards Big Door, and they might be able to get a cheeky shot onto Logan or Soapy. Soapy peeks him. Logan does some a little fancy footwork to try and keep his head from being shot, and now they know there's a sniper, and it's going to be on G6 to see, are they going to take this aggressively? Are we going to see maybe a shove, or Jay going in for another aggressive Uber if he thinks they're close?
You gotta kind of figure out where everyone's standing. How free is the choke? Who's actually watching it? You know, how deep are they actually going? And Logan, he tries to get the information, but will pay for his life, and they might go for an Uber change here. Maybe they're poking and prodding. They're still pretty aggressive on the side of Franzj, so this Uber change might work. Oh no, going for it. They aren't getting the force quite that fast. They're gonna try to go for more. Chase down the sniper in an awkward position. They're kind of just trading sides of the map, and they're not going to be able to really commit for this back cap here. So far, Franzj did a really good job recognizing just run forward, and the shot from Zam takes down Howard. Really good job here to kind of make sure that things are going in their favor. Getting a kill on the Yum Yum will slow them down. Kobe will end up dying at Exile though as they run through. Able to get a couple kills here and there. Only 1 left alive. Extra respawner coming in. There's just too much cap time. They've done too much here on 2. And what a heads up play from Franzj. They both kind of had the same idea. We'll go behind them and it'll just work. But overall, they're much more of a force from the side of Franzj. to be able to push forward into 2 and start that cap and collect all those kills to just teeter things in their favor. And now we're at a 4-4 game. We're at match point. This is going to end one way sooner or later, and it's all going to come down to this mid potentially.
It could indeed. We haven't had any round resets. It's been so back and forth, so close, 4-4. You see Sophie not going for the insta-bomb. He's actually going to be hiding over in Big Door. Zam working his way through elbow, doing a lot of damage. Sophie going in for the bomb onto low guy, misses one rocket, gets the kill, but everyone else is focused on the other side of the map as everyone falls on Franzj. A lay play from Yum Yum, not able to make it work as it's a complete and utter wipe. Everyone on Franzj falling. They only find one onto Kobe, and G6 are going to take this to their best of abilities to try and close it out here. They're already in lobby. They're already starting to peek onto last. This is going to have to be a miraculous last hold from Franzj if they want to take this to a third map.
You know, the big difference there for mid is Logai was pretty much alone for the most part, so it's one thing if someone goes in and kills your medic, but it's another thing if they go and kill your medic and then can continue to distract and be a nuisance and participate. So Sophie, after you got that frag, continued to go on and actually live throughout it all, and that could be the key difference here that made them go from mid to second to last. They get the kill onto the gun and onto Donovan. Uber this time, no crits. Nice ornament onto Yum Yum, puts him in a really weird spot. We have hit infinite overtime. There's a heavy and secret, but they've already collected 3 kills, and it's looking like that's all she wrote, and G6 will take this map. They'll take this series 5-4 for this map in particular, and we'll move on to the upper bracket finals. While Franzj, they fought hard, they collected a lot of rounds, but so far the regular season results were not able to appear tonight, and they will go on to the lowers to face the loser of Franzj versus Jiminy.
Yeah, which is still going on at the moment, and I don't think anyone's actually casting it, so we could swap over. I don't know, just throwing that out there. But even if we don't, we still got a lot to analyze over here, because G6, they were able to close it out. It was looking dicey there. It was looking very, very shoddy throughout some of that. Franzj, they were able to come back in, even though they were down 2-0, or actually down 3-0, and they gave G6 a really good run for their money, but just that last round, it was really just a mid to last, simple as, but it was just kind of a little mistakes, like you said, the kind of inherent team problems between the two, just not able to make things work.
Yeah, and even though like stuff kind of transcends maps sometimes, it can even be even more difficult if, you know, I mean, obviously they picked it for a reason. They won it in the regular season, but it was still really close. Both teams came to this map probably having a couple flaws back and forth, and obviously it was still very apparent with such a close scoreline. You have some openings that the other team can kind of abuse, but you know, honestly, props to them for, even though that some of their issues might have been, you know, I've been kind of harping on them at least so far this cast, but I think that's just because their issues are way more apparent than G6's. Coincidentally, whenever G6 makes a mistake, it's kind of like all over the place on like, oh, this happened, oh, that happened, or whatever. But a lot of times when Franzj makes a mistake and they get punished for it, it's like patterned and you can really notice it, which is not that great, honestly, because other teams that you're playing against can notice them easier as well, and sometimes that can be the tipping point. And you know, who's to say whether or not how much of a factor it had in this match, but it certainly didn't help anything. So close yet so far. On to the losers as they go. Yeah, we'll have to see how the results are going to end up for Freo versus Jiminy. It's ongoing, but since we've been casting this whole time, I mean, by the time we would jump into it, it would probably, I mean, who knows, but it would probably be over. So it's likely that what we're going to do is we are going to end up taking a break. Who knows how long that break will be? Maybe 30 minutes or maybe an hour. It kind of depends on how long the players need a break, because we're kind of at their mercy, right? So you'll have to bear with us. At least there'll be a timer on the stream. Just check in, like, what, 5-10 minutes, or who knows how long, because the match is still going on, to see how long the break lasts and when the upper bracket finals is going to happen. But it is happening tonight. It's happening relatively soon, within the next hour or two or something along those lines. You'll see G6 play against the winner of Freo versus Jiminy, where the winner of that match later tonight will get immediately not in the grand finals, but also get the one map advantage. So starts out in a really good spot, and it seems like the default time will be 10 o'clock. So we'll see how far that deviates at all. 10 o'clock EST. So if you're not, you know, if you're having some trouble with the time zones, that'd be in an hour. So you got you got some time to take a break along with the players, along with us, and be ready and energized to see who is going to be the first team to make it into our grand final.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. We know G6 are going to be one of those potential people. Is it Froyotech? Is it Jiminy? We'll see in just a little bit. And of course, stay with us to watch the upper bracket finals and tomorrow for everything else. But until then, like Jared said, we're going to take a little break. We'll see you in just a little bit.